look what I did. Okay, so I have made playlists that I have been working on for a while. This is the playlist for book 1. And then, oh no, hold on. Playlist for book 2. Playlist for book 3. So these are just like generic pictures that I've gotten. So basically Sienna, who's the main character, her best friend Mercy gets all of book 2 for herself, and then their best friend Sasha gets book 3 for herself. It's not really any book in the particular series, but it's set in the same city of Whittington. So this is Nova. This is her own playlist. And then similarly, this is Bryce. She's supposed to be a redhead, so I don't know if you can see that. And then her story also takes place in the same city. So she's gotten her own playlist for that novel as well. And I do love to listen to these as I go along when I'm writing, because it gives me a certain vibe and a certain mood that I need to try and convey in the stories. Then I've got another here for Axel and Lemon, which is an immigration novel. So again, novel aesthetic playlist as well, which I like to play as I go along. I don't know if you can tell. So it's a white lady and a black lady and they're best friends, and it's basically that one of them has moved to, I guess you could say, close the distance as well. So I'm going to be writing that story. I've been writing it for a while, and it's taken me a while, and I don't really discuss it because it's what I would consider to be like literary fiction. So it's not really genre specific or anything, but it's more of a serious work. So I'm kind of keeping that one secret for the time being, because at this point, only God knows if I'm actually going to ever put it out to get published. So I don't know, we'll see. And then I've got another book, sort of like aesthetic here. I've hashtagged it for now. It's called Polygon 5, which is supposed to be like my dystopian sci-fi type of story. And again, there's more like cool electro and stuff, kind of music down below. I haven't made a cover for this one as of yet. I'm taking my time with this one. I've gone on a massive break with this one. I need to do a lot of research, like scientific research and stuff, to make sure that technology actually works in that particular book. So I'm taking my time with that, and then just focusing entirely on all the magical books about witches and stuff here instead. So I just thought I would let you know about that. And if you would like a link to any of those playlists, I will put them all in the description box down below as well. So give them a listen. Current reads that I'm really enjoying right now. I'm reading a bunch of books, but there's 2 in particular that I'm absolutely in love with. So the first one is Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And then I've got The Night Tide of Summerlong by Rin Hoshigumo, which I highly recommend checking out. So I'm reading those at the moment. I'm in the middle of writing a review for this one as I go along. It says I'm only 3%. I'm not. I've been using my phone. It just hasn't synced. I'm actually quite a bit of the way in. So I just need to update this on my Kindle. But those are 2 books that I absolutely love right now. I'm thoroughly enjoying them. So I thought I would just feature them and highlight them here. So I'm just in the middle of writing a point script. I don't know what you call these. It's not a script per se, but it's kind of following a particular pattern for the first Twilight book. I challenged myself recently to give the first book and the first book alone a read so I could check it out for myself. And I guess you could say bite the bullet as far as YA research is concerned. And there are a number of reasons for that. The 2 main reasons why I didn't read the series when it was massive, this is going back, at least for me anyway, going back to 2007 was the year when I came face to face with an actual Twihart who, she was very emotionally invested in the series, to the point where if you had anything negative to say about the series, she would just full on cry and do other inappropriate things in front of you. So that kind of freaked me out about the series, because I thought, I don't want to read the series and become like this. And I guess Twilight was the series that also, whether it would be the book or the movies, it was also the series because of the fans and all the information that was coming out about the fans at the time and all that kind of stuff. It was that series that basically turned me off YA in general. I just couldn't wrap my head around young adult fiction. I found it really difficult. And then at the same time, I was also getting into the world of writing teenage stories for teenagers because I was pretty young at the time. So I wanted to write stories that would fit the demographic, or at least fit the reader of somebody who's similar in age to me. And I deleted all of them. I don't have any regrets about that. Some of the stories I think I can probably bring back, but
Hi! Hi! Did you have fun outside?
That's great. My dog just came back in. I don't have any regrets about deleting any of those early manuscripts. There were only like a few chapters in. It wasn't anything major. But like I said, Twilight was the series that kind of turned me off YA. I know now that there are a lot of adults, like grown-ass adults like myself, who are really, really, really obsessed with YA. And it's also something that is a given if you decide to join BookTube. You have to be a YA fiend. You absolutely have to love, adore, breathe, sleep, eat YA. If you don't, then you're not a real BookTuber. If you read anything that isn't YA, then the question is, are you really a reader? It's one of those things, which is why I never joined BookTube or anything, because I don't read a lot of YA. I reckon that if I gave Twilight the chance that I did way back then, I'd probably have a much better appreciation for YA now as an adult, but I just don't. So I thought reading the book would help me sort of bridge that void, the issues that I had, not so much with the genre or the book series itself, but more a case of like the readers and the fans and the idea of fandoms and things like that. I steered clear of fandoms. I steered clear of all of that stuff that I really enjoyed because I didn't want to be one of those overly passionate people who would destroy someone's life because they insulted one of their favorite characters from a series or something. I couldn't do it. So for me, if somebody were to ask, like, what would you consider to be the books that would be the epitome of modern YA fiction, for sure I'd definitely say The Hunger Games, fantastic series. I've read that and I really enjoyed those. Harry Potter, again, absolutely amazing series. I don't know if His Dark Materials would be considered a YA. I guess you could say it's a YA, the same as like Charles Dickens novels and things. They're technically classed as YA, even though they're classics. But also Twilight. Twilight is like the big one. Like I said, do you even read if you don't read YA? It's just one of those things. But I don't know. I thought I would challenge myself to read the book. I also work with someone who's a really, 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 really big diehard fan of Twilight, but she's actually normal, which I don't think I ever thought I'd ever meet anyone who was a Twilight who was actually normal. She's actually normal, and she also kind of challenged me as well. But it did take me a while to read the entire book. I had to keep taking regular breaks because there were certain points where Bella just kind of. I rolled so hard I gave myself a headache, so I needed like a 3-week break just to sort of be like, I need to get out of this like teenage mindset, it's too much. But it's also really convincing and really well written. I did give it 3 stars. That's purely because I don't like to give books 5 stars anymore. I've got a new like rating system. Because I find that whenever I read a book, I will just automatically love it. So I'm trying to teach myself to be a bit more critical and a bit more, I don't know, just save all the 5 stars. Otherwise, I just give 5 stars to everything, and I can't do that. That's really silly. But yeah, I'm in the middle of writing the script right now, and there are so many things that I thought about and came across and experienced as I read the first book. I don't think I will be reading on, so I don't think I'll read the rest of the series, at least for now anyway, considering that Midnight Sun has just come out, and I know that's been quite a big thing for some readers and fans online, which I've seen, but I'm just not ready to pick up book 2. But I'm just making a few points about the book itself, my initial thoughts and everything for another video, and then I will briefly go into details about vampire literature and how much I love it, and I'll also link an academic book written by one of my old professors. I'll also link it at the bottom of this video if you happen to be interested in vampire literature. And that's what I'm basically just going to be discussing, the pros and cons and comparing and contrasting. No analysis or anything like that, but yeah, I'm going to be doing that. But in between doing that, I'm also playing on the Switch. So it's just one of those days. I think I'm just going to be busy. But yeah, Twilight. I'm sure there's probably other books that I need to check out that I have been vehemently opposed to over the years. And so they've limited my enjoyment of other areas. So I'm gonna, at some point over the next few days anyway, try and think about what those titles are, and then try and muster up the courage, I guess you could say, to put them all into a TBR book list so that I can eventually get them and download them onto my Kindle. But it was an experience, and I'm glad I took it. I'm glad I took that trip. But anyway, I'm going to get back to writing my script, get back to writing my reviews as well, and then, I don't know, I guess I'll just see where I go from here. If you haven't yet read Twilight, why not? Put it down in the comments. If you have read Twilight and you are a big Twihart, what do you think of Midnight Sun? I guess, I don't know, I just want to start a conversation and see what happens. But anyway, back to work.